Welcome, seekers of the unknown, as we pull back the veil between the living and beyond. Unraveling questions that plague our minds, and oftentimes presenting the evidence that may prove them true. Let us take you on a journey where paranormal becomes normal, and where what is right behind you just might be echoes of the afterlife or something more. But fair warning, once you step into the supernatural with us, you might just stay haunted.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Stay Haunted. I'm Chris. That's Carmela. That's Todd.
I'm Todd.
That's Audra. And we have a very special guest tonight, guys. Before we start talking about what we did this weekend, everybody welcome Shannon Massimore.
Hello, Shannon.
For those of everybody watching, that is Audra's little sister.
Baby sis.
Baby sister.
Baby. One of them.
Baby.
So, guys, the reason we're all messed up like this is I'm traveling for work. I'm in Baltimore, Washington, D.C. now for work. Todd and Carmela are at home, just chilling, relaxing. They don't do shit.
Having a drink.
They're in Columbus, New Jersey, just like they always are. And Audra and Shannon are in Perrysburg, Ohio, just outside of Toledo tonight. So we're coming from you from multiple locations tonight. How awesome is that?
They wanted to get rid of Chris so they can have girl time by themselves. So he had to go somewhere.
That's right.
else.
They made me go to Washington.
I don't blame them.
You know.
Hey, Raul, how are you? Hello, Mr. Everett. Hope everybody's doing good tonight.
I was getting nervous there for a minute. People weren't showing up. I was like, God, Sheboygan killed it.
Sheboygan.
Sheboygan.
Stay haunted.
I forgot about that.
Sheboygan.
I forgot about
Before we start talking about Shannon, Todd and Carmela, what did you guys do this weekend? It's really exciting. You got to tell everybody.
Yeah, we actually had a busy weekend. So we went 2 weekends ago was what? Memorial Day weekend, right?
Sure.
So we did absolutely nothing. We totally vegged, did absolutely nothing, relaxed. This weekend, Friday night, Dos Cocos went to White Hill Mansion and did a solo for the first time, just us two.
Yeah, I don't know.
Carmela was a little apprehensive.
Mm-hmm.
And but we had
scary when you made lights out, nothing on. Why?
Yeah.
What does that do?
At the end of the night, Kyle Mangus from Friends of White Hill, he was our tour guide basically, and he was hanging out. He was hanging in the his trailer where their break room basically, and we had gone and gotten him at the end of the night for the last section. We were going up to the third floor to the attic, and we're like, Kyle, come on, come hang with us. And then we're like, all right, we got everything on. And he's like, listen, if we don't get anything, can we turn everything off? I'm like, yeah, I'm sure with that. Carmela was like,
I said, why?
Why?
I don't understand. Why are we shutting everything off?
So, but we actually had a couple weird experiences that I just picked up last night that I'll.
You just picked it up?
Well, we were reviewing and we had some cool experiences. One was, you want to talk? We were in a parlor doing we were doing a Q&A basically session.
Hey, where did Shannon go?
We went to turn on the lights because Audra's office for everybody doesn't have blinds. We don't have blinds yet in our new house. There you go.
Yeah, it looks good.
Hey there, Ron. Dos Cocos Crypt.
Yes. The cryptos explosions.
Mm-hmm.
The Skrittles. Skrittles with the Skrittles.
Where are my Skrittles?
So yeah, are they in there? I don't know. We didn't even eat them.
We didn't. Where did they go?
We'll get to this. I don't know. They're in there somewhere. So we were doing the investigation. We had some cool things. We were in the parlor on the first floor at White Hill, and we did a EVP, or not an EVP. We were just doing a Q&A session, and literally during the Q&A session we were doing, it was myself, Carmela, Kyle, and his wife Christina. We were talking about trying to connect with the former owners of White Hill, and then there had been reports of little children. And then when Kyle was asking, literally there's a couch to the right of us. You hear the little
footsteps
of like a little 2 or 3 year old pitter patter footsteps. And we were just like, and we heard it just about it. It was like, we just heard the footsteps. Like it was like a little kid running.
And then I was sitting on the couch and I said, I feel like he's behind me. Are you behind me? And you hear a little voice say, I want to say yes. But
it was high. Yeah.
He said, hi.
So after that, with Kyle and Christina, we went back in, just the two of us, and did an EVP recession. And on both of our recorders, I'm asking, is the little boy with us? A couple other questions. Then Carmelo, the dead bell goes off, and then Carmelo was just getting ready to ask because she was sitting on the couch and just what you said, right?
Yep.
Are you there? And sure enough, we play back. We get a real soft little hi. So it was pretty cool. And then Saturday, what did we do Saturday?
Those Cocos with Skriddles.
Who did we take Skriddles to?
Ron and Lourdes. What was it called?
It was we attended the festival of the Cryptid and Paranormal Festival in Farmingdale, New Jersey, which is about 40 minutes from us. Ron and Lourdes were speakers there. Kara and Gail from 9 Lives Paranormal. We saw Raul. We saw a lot, Scotty the Medium, a bunch of people. Dave Schrader was there. There was a lot of UFO people and cryptology people. Ronnie
We
LeBlanc.
met Bill and Ted.
Right. We met
These 2 young guys that were what
from
they
Detroit.
swore
So
they were
we're
Bill
gonna,
and Ted.
but we're gonna,
Hey, dude.
they got a podcast, so we're gonna try and hook up with them and reciprocate. And so it was a good weekend. It was very busy.
And Sunday we
So,
did
Sunday was review.
review. Mm-hmm. That's
How
it.
was your week?
Very exciting, though. Oh my goodness.
How was the Allgoods and Miss Audra's weekend?
She's an all good.
I know.
Speaking of Wonderland.
All good.
So what was exciting on your
Why
end?
can't we hear Chris? Why can't we hear him?
Because I was muted.
Oh,
So the
I
last
saw
few
your
weeks
mouth
we've
moving,
been
but I'm like, I don't know what he's saying.
we haven't been able to do much paranormal because we've been getting our house together. So we spent the weekend. Of course, the main reason why he's just sitting next to Audra is we moved to Ohio to be near family, right? So we've been spending as much time as we can with them. Plus, we've been busting our ass getting our house done, and Audra spent the weekend telling me where to hang shit. So we haven't got to the paranormal stuff yet,
Right.
I mean, that cemetery is only 12 minutes down the road.
but it's coming. It's coming.
All right.
I know. We got to get there.
We got to get there.
Short. Sit up.
So let me introduce. We've got a really good show for you guys tonight. One is not only because it's a family-oriented show, but two, because we've got some evidence clips about of an investigation that we did with Shannon. So Shannon is not only Audra's little sister, she's also a paranormal enthusiast, and she is absolutely addicted to the paranormal. And it just coincides with what Audra and I do, because now we actually have a third person to go investigating with us once we start investigating. And we've actually got some evidence tonight of the last investigation that Shannon was on with us. So Shannon, introduce yourself to our audience. Tell them who you are, now that they know who you are anyway, but tell them who you are and tell them what got you interested in the paranormal to begin with.
Yep. I know.
I've always been fascinated with it, but in the past, I've had experiences that kind of, I feel like once you see something or, something paranormal, it just kind of, it's addictive. It's kind of like you just want to know more. You want to find, you're just more curious and just keep, wanting to know more. And I think the biggest one is still one that I want to go with you, Chris, or to have you come with me to the one Holcomb Road where I did have an experience. But I think it's just the whole, it just keeps drawing you in once you have an experience. So that's
It hooks, hook, line, and sinker, get you.
And sinker.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell me about the
thing is
when Mom was on
Go ahead.
Scott Road still, and you fell asleep on the couch, and you woke up. Yeah. So tell me about that.
That was kind of weird. That was like my first experience with
Actually seeing it, right?
well, no, that was more of a sleep paralysis.
Okay.
Experience that I've had. Fell asleep, laying one way on the couch, and in my dream, I'm faced the other way on the couch, and I have a faceless, cloaked being standing in front of me that actually lunged onto my body, and I was paralyzed, couldn't move, and just finally was able, I hear this loud noise and I was able to wake myself up, but then I'm faced the opposite direction, the direction I fell asleep originally on the couch. So that was kind of a unusual, weird experience I had. Yeah. So I guess it's all kind of tied into like paranormal type stuff. And that's what just, out of some of the experiences that I've had, it just keeps me kind of interested in wanting to learn more about it.
So I'm going to ask it, like Audra didn't drag you along, screaming and pulling or anything like that.
Pigtails.
Not at all.
Pull by the ponytail, something like that,
I've been I've been doing this long before I was doing this with Audra and Chris. Like, this was like something that's always intrigued me from a young age. So I've been doing this a lot longer than when I skipped along into it with them. Like, let's do this. I loved it.
Yeah.
So I already had experiences before even Audra met Chris. And once I found out Chris was all about this, I was like, cool. Now I got somebody to do this with. Like,
Somebody I can do this with.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a question. So that just, with you saying that, so you had the experiences from when you were younger and, and then obviously before Chris and Audra met. Once you guys met and Chris and Audra met, do you think your experiences maybe kind of increased a little bit because of Chris's abilities and Audra's abilities as far as being able to sense, being sensitive and stuff?
Yes.
Well, I'm
absolutely.
thinking now that you're finally there together, it's going to ramp up.
I can't wait.
That's what I feel like. It's going to ramp up.
That was my most exciting thing about them moving on.
Right.
Not that we're close, is that we can take your places to experience shit.
It's close, but that, she was looking forward to that more so than the other.
Hey, Mary Beth.
I wonder.
Hello, Miss Colucci.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, Shannon says that, she's had these experiences when she was younger. I had experiences when I was younger, and we never talked, we never knew.
Right. Now, did your mom ever have experiences? No, never.
Again,
She has recently.
It's
Scott Road. On Scott Road, my parents, we had always kind of grown up in the city, and then when they kind of got more to retirement age, but not quite retirement age, I was already out of the house. They bought some property outside of town, and this is where the Scott Road comes from. So they had 10 acres that they had, and there had been a few. That's where Shannon had that dream.
That
entity or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
Thank you.
and then my mom, who hands down doesn't believe any of this kind of stuff. She one day or one evening walked into her bathroom, and the bathroom was, you walk in carpet, but then where the toilet and the shower are, it's the tile, linoleum, whichever it was. But right where they separate, there was an imprint of her father's face in the carpet.
Were you in the carpet?
In the carpet. Wow. And my mom was like, no way. And my uncle, so her brother, happened to be there, and she's like, Roger, you've got to come see this.
Wow.
It's like, this is bullshit. This is whatever.
Yeah, I mean, right. I mean, normal people would think, yeah, no, you're weird.
He saw it too. And then it was gone.
Wow.
It was gone. There was no reason. There wasn't any.
I wonder why he chose the floor, the carpet. Like what?
Near the toilet. I don't know. But he did.
I mean, hey, I guess you got to go. So he figured she'd be in there sooner or later, right?
Right.
My other sister, so same house. So Dawn had gone home to visit, family game night. We do a lot of that around here. And they were playing Scrabble, and she mixed up the tiles. And when she was pulling all the tiles to like put on the little board, it literally spelled my grandmother's name. And it's it's not a common name.
Right.
It's how she spelled it.
Oh, that's pretty cool too.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, and these are significant experiences, guys, because we've talked about this before. Everybody looks for the burning bush.
Right.
Everybody looks for the guy walking across water. It's the tiny little signs that we don't pay attention to, are the ones where people are trying to communicate. And we've learned that as paranormal investigators, when you do an EVP, it's when you don't think you're getting anything is when you get some of the best stuff, right? And same example. It's you don't expect it, but it's there, and those are the little signs that show you that they're still with us. The consciousness still goes on after life, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Oh, I was going to say that I also, in that same house, had the dream about the little boy who died of, yellow fever. He told me. Dreaming about a little boy I was chasing through the house, and he wanted to play, and he told me, I asked how he died. I knew he was a ghost. How did you die? I had yellow fever. That year, the Christmas tree was pushed over. It was during Christmas. The Christmas tree was pushed over quite a few times. You bought a flute for him as a gift, like a little offering, because being mischievous. But I also had that dream that about a boy who, he lived in the area, and he ended up dying of yellow fever is what he had told me. So yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. A lot of weird stuff in that.
Yeah, right.
Love that property. So yes, we are all very upset when my parents sold that. Piece of property.
Yeah, that stings.
And it's right by the Tontogany Cemetery that we love to go to. So I mean, we could probably walk there.
Right.
Yeah. So we've talked about this. We've talked about this cemetery before. Tontogany Cemetery in Ohio is literally 12 minutes from where Audra and Shannon are sitting right now. Literally 12 minutes. So the fantastic thing about us moving to Ohio, with us being paranormal investigators and sensitives, is that Ohio existed during the Revolutionary War. Right. It wasn't one of the original 13, but it was one of the original 15 that happened, and it technically hadn't become a state yet, but it was a territory. So we've got places like Put-in-Bay, Ohio, that has graves from the 1700s, right? There's a house 15 minutes from where Audra and I just moved, and 20 minutes from where Shannon lives that was built in 1756. You have the Battle of Fallen Timbers. You have Fort Meigs, which is, all of these places are within 15 minutes. You want to talk about a paranormal wet dream. There's 15 different haunted locations that have history connections within 15 minutes of where Audra and I just bought our new villa, right?
Right.
And Shannon lives 20 minutes from us, max, 15, 20 minutes.
All right.
15.
This is a great location. And referring back to Tontogany Cemetery, that was one of the, Shannon, was that your first technically official investigation?
Yes. I mean, yeah, with like equipment and stuff because we did have some equipment. I would have to say yes. That was my first with using official. Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So if everybody watching, Tontogany Cemetery is listed as one of the most haunted cemeteries one of the oldest and one of the most haunted cemeteries in Ohio. Okay. So where we live, we are literally, I mean, this morning I drove from our house. It took me an hour to get to the Detroit airport. We're literally an hour and 15 minutes from the Canadian border, right off of Lake Erie. The Tontogany Cemetery is 12 minutes from our house, and there's graves that there's like 5 different sections of this cemetery, and one of the sections is late 1700s, early 1800s, 1900s, and it progresses to they still bury people there to this day, and it sits out in the middle of cornfields, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cornfields, well, not just necessarily cornfields, but out in the middle of a farming area. And there's Audra and I and the boys have done multiple investigations there, and then we took Shannon there with us one night and did an investigation. And I have 3 clips from that investigation that was just insane. But there's an area of the cemetery that's dark. There's an area of the cemetery that borders on the dark, more towards the light. And then you get into the more recent burials that we got some responses, but not a whole lot of responses. But there's also a caretaker shed in the back where one of the caretakers actually committed suicide and hung himself. So the reason I say this is Audra, Shannon, and I one night said, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go out there. Let's do an impromptu investigation. The closest house is a quarter mile away. So there's not a whole lot of light contamination. There's not a whole lot of noise contamination. I mean, literally, the most noise contamination you're going to get is raccoons, possums, deer, rabbits, right? It is a great cemetery, but there has been times where we've been out there. This cemetery is Audra's son saw his first apparition there, right? There has been times where we were at the cemetery and the dark side kind of shadow figures started showing up, and I said, okay, everybody, time to get in the car, let's go. This is a lot of people say cemeteries are not a good place to investigate. This is one of the best cemeteries we've ever investigated.
Very
so
interesting.
Yeah, this is a lead up to the first clip I'm going to show you is Audra and Shannon and I using an EMF detector. Of course, well, Audra was holding it. This first clip shows you this is the level of EMF coming out of this cemetery. And guys, there is nothing for miles that it would emit any type of electromagnetic frequencies to record on an EMF detector.
No power lines?
No, there's no power. The closest power line is a quarter mile down the road.
All right.
There's no way a handheld EMF detector is going to pick it up. There's no electricity in this cemetery at night. There's some lights on some of the graves that are solar that you can see off in the distance in some of the videos, but nothing that would produce EMF electricity, right? Or EMF frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take.
Beth, just saying.
What?
Mary Beth, she said, I walk through our cemetery and talk to the people quite often. I wonder if anyone answers me. Like, yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Record it. Get your recorder out.
Oh,
Your phone.
Yeah, Mary Beth.
Record it on your phone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if your phone has a voice note or something like that, when you're walking through,
record it.
Yes, record it. You'll be surprised.
And you got to remember, guys, the more you go back in history, the more that you realize that people felt like that was where the people that they loved, when they placed them in the ground, that's where they would go to talk to them because that's where they felt that they would be.
Right.
And the more we move towards modern day, it's like we've discovered as paranormal investigators that that's not necessarily true, that people and spirits come their consciousness once they leave the earth and once they lose their meat pajamas, right? That they wander freely. It's called free will, right? So God gives us free will, God gives us consciousness. But back then they believed that in the 1700s, 1800s, they believed that's where the people were. And if those beliefs are that strong, that's where they're going to be. But let me go ahead and play this clip so you guys can see the type of spikes we were getting that night at the cemetery. All right, here we go.
Oh, I got a reading.
You got a spike.
reading.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello. How are you guys doing?
Can you tell us what your name is? Do you like those pretty lights? Those let us know that you're here.
You trying to surround us and touch us? You can.
Get onto the grass.
Okay, guys.
Hi.
Wow.
There you go.
How are you?
That is huge.
Huge. Hi, guys.
Hello.
My name is Audra. Again, if you
Yeah. Yeah, Shannon was actually on that one.
Wait, Shannon was holding that one. Audra was videotaping. Audra was a good 3 to 5 feet away from the EMF detector. And when Audra investigates, she keeps her phone far enough away that it's not going to set off the meter. You guys saw those spikes. Those are common spikes that we get at the Tontogany Cemetery. And timing and relevance, you want to talk about timing, relevance, intelligence? Those are the spikes we get in direct responses to yes or no questions in certain areas of that cemetery. It is just phenomenal.
So that activity almost kind of reminds me going back to Montgomery House when we were down there with you guys in the Montgomery House.
Mm-hmm.
And the kind of K2 when, Audra, I know you've had some pretty good experiences with K2 on command and then when we were down there, the pretty purple K2 that Carmela had, weird, you guys, and then when we switched or whatever, I think you were getting the responses too. It was just,
You like the purple.
it liked the purple
I
color.
like the purple one. Yep.
Like the pinkish purple.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was a diva spirit.
It was.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, you could tell, so like when you're in the middle of, God's country, so to speak, out in the middle of fields and stuff like that, where there's not a lot of power sources. And like you said, EMF, I mean, you have natural, but like how much does natural EMF give off is it going to set off, a K2 meter, like to that degree? So.
Well, it would be consistent if the power was there.
Right. You would think it would be, you would think it would be.
Yeah. I mean, it would spike and then not, and then spike and then not. So.
Man.
Yep. It was a good time. Looking
Very
forward to
cool.
It was a good time.
I'm going to go back real quick I know Melissa had asked this question a little bit before. Do you think all cemeteries are haunted?
yeah. But
I would
aren't
think so.
most places haunted?
Yeah. I mean, depending on the extreme, like some might not be as haunted as this one.
Everything. So yeah.
I shouldn't have given you the Pilar.
It also depends too. So let me give an example. Audra and I just moved here from North Carolina. There was a cemetery probably 15, 20 minutes from the house, Audra, out in the middle of nowhere. The one on 5 Points Road, heading towards the old prison, the prison brewery. And it literally sat on the corner in the middle of nowhere. And when I would travel from Charlotte to Raleigh for work early in the morning, I'd come back late in the afternoon. There would always be an older gentleman out there visiting his wife's grave. So the question is are all cemeteries haunted? The possibility's there. I mean, if somebody feels like that's where they're going to be able to talk to their loved one and their loved one knows that, of course they're going to show up, right?
Right.
Yep.
So the possibility of a cemetery being haunted is, I mean,
What's the cemetery? We went in Philadelphia. There's a cemetery, and they don't make cemeteries like this, I'm sure, anymore.
Yeah.
And it was, I'm having a brain fart with it. It's
the
just
brain fart cemetery.
Yeah, it's not that. But there's all like mausoleum. They call it Millionaire Row. It was a lot of the prominent people of Philadelphia that had a big hand in, developing an industry and stuff like that back in the 1700s,
Like
1800s in Philadelphia and stuff like that.
Say hi.
And hello, TJ. We just had a visitor.
And Audra's sister, Shannon.
Say hello. Say hello to TJ.
Just passing by and here's
TJ.
So, but yeah, so this it's like you said, people would go and visit, and it was developed like it was wandering. It's not like you would go to a cemetery today where everything's just kind of straight lines, this, that. with headstones and stuff. I mean, there's landscaping. It was like people would go and picnic and visit their relatives when they, and make a day of it, so.
I can't think of a better place to picnic.
Right? What do you mean? It's a cool place, though.
Hey, let's go eat with the dead people.
You know what? There were a lot of people doing that.
I gotta look it up. Philadelphia. Talk amongst yourself while I look up the
I mean, think about it. Think about it.
Wait, who is the?
If your consciousness goes with you and your free will goes with you, and all you want to do is come back and see the ones that you loved before you passed, and that's where they go to see you, where are you going to show up?
Was it Laurel Hill? No, it's not Laurel Hill. It might be Laurel Hill.
Like you went down one part, you thought you were like going in Italy in like a villa where Italy was. They had all these different guys. I'm a little tipsy. Pilar is hitting.
We don't do that on our
Fall
show.
off the chair.
No more
Just laugh
Pilar for
about it.
her. It's Laurel Hill Cemetery.
East and west.
Yeah, east and west. There's two of them. There's a Laurel Hill East and West. Google Laurel Hill Cemetery in Philadelphia.
You ever get here?
If you ever get here, we'll take you guys there. It's a cool cemetery.
That's fantastic.
Baseball fans. So a lot of prominent people. Harry Callis, from a former Philly baseball announcer, he's buried there. So it's.
Who was the Gettysburg guy?
There was also a general, one of the generals from the Gettysburg during the Civil War is buried there also, and I can't think of what his name is.
The dead guy.
The dead guy.
The dead guy.
So,
hey, you want to see another clip?
Yes.
Real fast, yeah, and then I'll have a question for Shannon.
Okay, so let's play this clip. This one's fantastic because Shannon, Audra, and I were in the middle section. The middle section is right on the edge of the dark section, right? And in between the dark section and the section with the newer, I say, what, 70s, 80s, up until current times. But the older section is where the 1700s, 1800s. But then there's a section off to the north that's where I pointed out that, the shadow figures show up. The breeze blows in that section only sometimes. And that section, you just get this negative, nauseous, gross feeling when you start heading towards it.
Right.
And we were headed towards that section and we caught this EVP. And I don't know if it was a warning. I don't know if it was somebody trying to help us.
Thank you, Mary Beth.
But this one was interesting. So here we go.
All right.
You want to hear it again?
Yeah.
Please.
All right, here we go.
I love a good EVP.
Something didn't want us heading towards that section.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Go back.
Go back.
Go back.
Now, did you get any other response?
I have one more that is probably one of the best ones and the creepiest ones that we've ever caught. But what was the question you had for Shannon?
So when you were going back to your sleep paralysis,
Mhm.
Did you have, were you conscious or were you aware of that it was happening, or was it? Was it like a dream state type of thing? Were you awake and aware, and you couldn't physically move, or it's more like a dream type of situation?
At first, more like a dream state. Once it lunged at me, I felt in my chest, and I was waking up and hearing a loud noise. I can't explain the noise, but I was frozen. It literally jumped into my chest. I was frozen, couldn't move. Until I woke up and looked around for a few minutes. Then I could move. I could breathe. I could, I was free from it.
I was going to say it's scary though, right? I mean, did you feel scared?
Yeah.
Get out of it?
Yeah, that happened more than 20 years ago, and I will not forget it. So,
Yeah,
it was scary.
Yeah, I would imagine when something like that happens, leaves an impact on you that it almost seems like it just happened yesterday type of situation. So
it was very crazy. I know, to say the least.
So where's Mr. Chris and Miss Audra going to take Shannon on the first investigation when you guys officially get settled? Is it going to be to the cemetery or is it going to be somewhere else?
Well, I'm sure we'll definitely go back to Tontogany.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely go back to Tontogany because there is this little 12-year-old girl there named Elizabeth that's trapped. And that's I don't know if she's trapped or she just hasn't passed on. I can't say trapped because we don't believe in trapped, but
Right.
we found her grave. That is the apparition that Audra's son saw for the first time. We had multiple communications with her at that investigation. And we promised her that we would come back and move her on.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that has been weighing on my mind ever since that investigation. So we will eventually go back and send Elizabeth on to where Elizabeth needs to go. So she's happy and free and not stuck there.
Right.
And the reason I say that is I want to show you this last clip that we have from that investigation that spawned from us talking to Elizabeth. Elizabeth died what was it, 1856? Early 1800s? Somewhere in the area?
I know it was older, yeah.
So this clip was caught. We had just finished talking to Elizabeth, and I think I asked her where she went, and this is the response that we got. And remember, where Elizabeth is buried and where we've seen her is right next to the darker area of the cemetery. So turn your sound way up. This one will curl your hair. All right, here we go.
You still here?
Gotta play that one again.
I will play that one again. Remember, crank it up, guys. This is me asking Elizabeth, are you still here? Because she stopped responding to us.
You still here?
Now, if you guys listen to that really closely, it's me. Yeah, it's me, Audra, and Shannon. I am the only male.
And
That
you
is
don't
not
like
that is not my voice, and I don't whisper during investigations.
Can I also make a point about that time at that moment, like when you were talking about it was literally not even breezy that night. And Chris said,
Jeez, right?
yes, Chris is like, I don't like that part of the
Yeah.
cemetery.
You guys are not going over there.
Literally,
Right.
trees just in that little section started swaying, and there's no breeze, none.
Right.
And it was just creepy as heck. I mean,
Yeah, that's definitely creepy.
it was
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, as soon as he said
Do you
that,
want to play it one more time for Everett? Everett, crank it.
Crank
Turn
it.
it way
Everett,
up.
Everett, put your miracle ears in. I'll play it 2 more times. Turn it
All
way up.
Ron
And
said
listen
it's
close.
silenced.
Yeah, it usually does.
Here we go.
You are correct, Melissa.
There's not enough sage for that shit. All right, here we go. 2 more times. Here we go.
You still here?
Yeah, too bad you can't like crank it up yourself.
Well, guys, you got to remember what you're hearing. I have not enhanced.
We don't enhance it, yeah.
We don't enhance it. I show you as it is naturally. So on here, and StreamYard tends to tone it down a little bit. This was actually louder than what you guys are hearing it. So one more time, crank it all the way up. This is creepy as hell. It gave me the chills when I found it. One more time. Here we go.
You still here?
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Now, if for any reason at all you guys couldn't hear that, the words you see on the screen is exactly what the fucker
He
said.
said.
That's
Right.
absolutely what he says. Hello, Miss Lourdes. Thank you for hopping in. We love you.
Lourdes. Hello. But this is Tontogany Cemetery, guys, and this is just one of 15 locations, literally within 15 minutes. We moved here to be near family, and guess what? What did he say?
Oh, yeah. He's heard it and it's pure form.
Oh yeah, yeah. Ron, I've played it for Ron at the house when he was there.
Yep.
Yep.
Hello, Miss Lourdes.
Yeah, thanks, Lourdes.
But guys, this is literally so. Not only do Audra and I get the pleasure of spending time with Shannon and the rest of the family, but the amount of paranormal activity within a 15-minute radius of our house. Literally, you could put a dot where our house is and do a circle, and there's 15 different haunted locations that
Line them up. Let's line them up.
by next summer, Chris will have control of one of them. I guarantee it.
We're done.
Melissa, I'm trying to point to Melissa's comment. Screw unpacking boxes. Go play in the cemetery. Absolutely. That's what I agree 100%, Melissa.
Fuck the moving shit. Get your ass.
That's right. Get out to the cemetery.
Sorry, my OCD does not quite allow that, but
I can tell you guys right now, the spirits can wait because I'm telling you, the EVPs I get from Audra when shit's not done are 10 times worse.
You don't want those EVPs. No,
Yeah, no.
definitely not. No, definitely.
I can sleep with the EVPs I catch on
if anybody comes to
paranormal
visit the
investigations.
house,
I can't
together,
sleep
we
with
never
Audra's EVP.
so we're good. Good.
So Shannon, off the top of your head, for everybody watching, in a 15-minute radius of where we both live, name some of the top places that you can think of.
Definitely Holcomb Road. That is in Bowling Green, so that's about 20 minutes from here. I have a friend out also in Bowling Green that has a horse farm that is definitely haunted. The Wilcott House, which is just down the street, definitely haunted. We have, as you said earlier, Fort Meigs, just down the street, definitely haunted. The Columbian House in Waterville, 100%. Levi and Lilacs, which is a restaurant just down the road from here as well, maybe 10 minutes from here, definitely haunted. And you know that because you remember when you were investigating a little bit and we got some information.
Where did Jacob work that was haunted? The restaurant or his friend worked there?
I'm not sure which one it was.
I don't think he worked there. I think his friend worked there.
It might have been, but that's further away. It might have
is it further away?
Okay. I mean, you know, we have the battlefield of Fallen Timbers, the battlefield, that whole area is haunted. Anywhere along the river, pretty much here, we've got, you know, we're right on the river here, and there are tons of locations all down the river that have something attached to it.
Some of the battles that have happened.
Water, of course, but there are very many locations.
So I have a question for you, Shannon, and if you mentioned this previously and I didn't notice, have you ever seen a shadow figure before?
I have not.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I have not.
It's coming.
I'll like to.
And when we get there, we have so much to do with you, and we'll see them together.
Yeah.
I would like to. I mean, I'm not afraid. I'm
they're supposed to maybe come in July, maybe. Right?
Yes, we're thinking about it.
Maybe.
I'm afraid, but if you just give me a little less, I'll be fine.
So let me give you guys a little insight. We are literally, a mile and a half, 2 miles from Fallen Timbers?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fallen Timbers is the primary issue of the Battle of Fallen Timbers was the control of the Northwest Territory between the United States and a confederation of Native American tribes with the support of the British.
Everett.
The battle was the culmination of the Northwest Indian War. It was a struggle over land and sovereignty in the region.
Right.
So the Battle of Fallen Timbers was basically the Confederate Army came in and wiped out 3 different tribes in one battle. They killed hundreds of indigenous Indians in less than a 10-acre plot of land, right along the Maumee River. There is a walking trail that we have gone on. Audra and I have gone on a couple times with I think Shannon went with us, right? And then your mom went with us.
Yeah.
You walk through this park. There's a big tribute to it, and as you're walking through this park, the forest has this feel to it, like the trees are watching you. You can feel the sadness. You can feel the death. The Confederate Army literally walked in and literally wiped out 3 different tribes in one battle just to get the land. And that doesn't include the battle that happened at Fort Meigs, where they were trying to stop the British from coming in down the Maumee River, right? Where they were invading northern Ohio, coming down through Canada. That doesn't include Put-in Bay, Ohio, which sits out in the middle of Lake Erie, that used to be one of the battle points where they would stop the French coming in from the north, trying to invade the American territories.
See,
Guys,
Everett, people want Ohio.
what?
I said, see, Everett, people want Ohio.
Yes, people want Ohio. Guys, we are in a paranormal hotspot, and Audra and I and now Shannon are just chomping at the bit. And the best part about it is there's so much history here, it's crazy. And the bad part is the history here is about slaughter and battle and fighting, and it is just, we are so excited. Well, not here. I'm in freaking Washington D.C. right now, but up where Audra and I live and Shannon live now, it's just, oh God, it's phenomenal. The amount of history. I don't say phenomenal because it's tragic at the same time, but guys, we went from North Carolina, where you couldn't get permission to investigate shit, to
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
we've got so many spots around us that you're going to see a lot coming out of Audra and I, and now Shannon's with us. We're going to have some investigations coming on that's just going to be phenomenal. Some of the stuff that we bring out, and then Todd and Carmela can come up. Ron and Lourdes are invited over.
Yeah. My brother. I mean, we'll tie it in. My brother lives in Cincinnati, so
Oh, yeah, that's not
Nice.
not far
So
off.
let me throw a little curveball into that. That's just within 15 minutes radius. An hour north of us is Eloise Asylum. An hour and 15 minutes south of us, Ohio State Reformatory.
We got to spend a week or two
man,
there.
we may have to take a 2-week vacation to come visit you guys.
I think that's
Hold
what's
on,
gonna
let's check a
happen.
calendar.
We'll rearrange.
We'll rearrange.
Rearrange
We're
for
gonna make
that.
2-week vacation coming to
Yeah,
visit
yeah.
the Allgoods in
We're
Ohio.
good.
I don't
Damn
think
Skippy, Ron. Damn Skippy, we got more buckets coming.
What color, Mary Beth wants to know?
What the fuck, Everett?
Dang, Everett doesn't like Ohio.
Yeah, I don't think he does. Why, Everett? Why don't you like us?
Why no love for Ohio, Everett?
Why no love for Ohio?
No.
Jeez. Dang, Everett.
So, Chris and Audra, when you've investigated the cemetery, I'll ask the same question. Have you guys ever experienced a shadow figure while going through there?
Chris
Right.
has. I have not.
I've seen multiple. I've seen upwards of 15 to 20 in one shot. To the point where I told Audra and the kids, get in the truck, we're leaving. We're gone.
Shit,
Yep. He's like, we're done. Let's go.
that's wild.
And you guys have investigated with me, and some of the people watching have investigated with me. How often have you heard me say, stop what you're doing, let's go?
Yeah, no.
The Tontogany Cemetery, there is that section that Shannon
Right,
was
you said
referring
that.
to and Audra
Yeah.
was talking about, that when that section pipes up, it's time to leave. Yep.
I'm slightly intrigued and slightly apprehensive, but
And that Holcomb Road that Shannon talked about earlier, it's one of those urban myths where they talked about the
explain
yeah
what
they
it
talk. Go ahead, Audra.
No, I said explain what it is.
Oh, it's so supposedly a bus full of, and correct me if I'm wrong, Shannon, a bus full of kids wrecked and died on that road.
Right. The bus driver crashed into a tree.
Nutrient killed a bunch of kids on the bus, and
This is the urban legend. Yes.
yeah, so it's one of those urban legends. But we actually went out there one night, and I can tell you the woods on that road talk to you. The energy coming off the woods is creepy as hell. They talk to you. It is one of it's on my bucket list to go back to, because we were there one night and had to leave because everybody goes out there to
They
experience
do.
it.
You got your young teenage, whatever.
Yeah.
They're messing around. It's just a stretch of road, no houses, nothing, just woods, canopy of trees. No one's out there, but they do. The kids come in and they, mess around or whatever. I mean, I have had experiences on that road. Kind of, like I had one time that I had gone out there with friends. You're supposed to shut the car off, turn off the lights, turn everything off. And supposedly you're going to see the bus headlights pop up behind you. And it chases you out of the woods, the canopy of woods on that stretch of road. It's just like a gravel road. The only time I had an experience there that was freaky was when we had a car of people coming up behind us. Again, people just going out there to mess around, whatever. So we're like, okay, we gotta turn. These people are coming up behind us. We gotta, turn on our engine. We gotta get out of here because they're gonna come up and run into us if they don't see us. So we turn the engine on, start heading down the road, and all of a sudden these people are on our butt. Like, get the heck out of here. And we see behind them a pair of headlights that are higher, like bus headlights. Mm-hmm. And they're like on our butt, like, get out of here, get out of here. And until we flew out of there, and until we hit the edge of that, the road, we both, the car that I was in and the car behind us, both took a left out of there and kind of circled back around. Like, what the heck was that? We so bad wanted to be like, to stop the people and be like, hey, what did you guys see? Because I know what we see. That was crazy. What was that? Like, what did we just all experience? But we, it was just me and my one friend, and they had, my friend that I was with at the time had also had an experience out there. I was not there for that experience. She shared that experience with me. That was kind of crazy too. So is there something in the woods? Something's there. Something's weird,
There's
creepy.
Something to the story.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a school bus. I don't know what it is. It's creepy though. And being out there is not, it's a very creepy vibe.
All right. So I'm going to actually ask a question, what just made me think of. So if money was not an issue, mm-hmm. where would you go investigate?
That's a hard
one. I mean, there's a
lot of good places to go.
Here, I like it here. There are so many places here. It's so investigate. But honestly, the South.
Okay.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of places in the South that intrigue me.
You're talking like Savannah, Charleston.
Yes, I've been on a little ghost tour in Savannah that really intrigued me. There was a Graber house in Savannah, Georgia. That was kind of crazy. That place really intrigued me. But yeah, there's so many places in the South that kind of intrigue
You'd
me.
spend a lot of time in the South.
Yeah, I guess I would. I mean, I'm being honest. I mean, I'm not saying
No, that's yeah, it's curious. I always like to, ask people. I mean, we would like to go out west to the Queen Mary at some point. Mr. Ron's talking about Broadwell, where they did the World Gate project with Austin Maynard and Jay Prather. They were out there in Ohio. Evidently, that's a very good location. And where else? We're going across the pond in September.
Hey, I want to go.
We're excited to get a little taste of maybe with some castles or something like that. That would be kind of like our, anywhere. Ireland, she's Irish, so being Irish, going to a castle or something like that.
that would be awesome.
To the bar.
When are we going?
We are going on September 22nd. Are you coming? That's London.
We're going
But
to
we
London.
could do Ireland another time together.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
And go back to
That's
Key West
Liz.
again. I'm sure there's something we can investigate in Key West.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Playing tag with you, Chris.
Robbie just said to me, Mom, I want to do a ghost hunt in Key West. I was shocked. I don't know why he said that, but
Okay.
where
That
can
was-
we go for that?
That's fun.
Where can we go? Do you have any places?
Yeah, I don't know of any places that.
Other than David's old house.
Yeah. My cousin had a creepy house that everybody had experiences in at some point. In
Really?
time. My uncle that we spoke about earlier, who
That's
has
non-believer.
to the hill, saw it was soldiers.
Yeah,
Saw soldiers.
Apparitions.
Yeah, peeking out from under the bed. And
Wow. That's a little scary.
Yeah.
It's not
Can you
that.
imagine?
Yeah, no, nope.
So Ron was joking about White Castle. White Castle is a good burger.
Yeah,
Listen, it's fun. Ron. Listen,
A
when
little
we
bit of onions, a little bit of cheese.
little onions, cheese, person, they're like the square ones. Listen, they are. Listen, we could slam like a 20-pack.
You could slap
Yeah,
Like
it.
a small,
absolutely.
They're small, man. I'll slam a 20-pack easy.
Yeah.
And they're good. And we actually, it was funny that Ron brings up White Castle. So after the festival the Cryptid Paranormal Festival we went for ice cream. And literally we were done after the ice cream. And then I forgot right across the street was a White Castle. I looked, we're like,
I'm just gonna throw up.
we
wanted
really
to do
wanted
it,
one, but we couldn't
but
do
couldn't
it.
do it. We couldn't do it.
All right, guys. Unfortunately, we have reached the end of the show. I would say normally I go, Shannon, where can everybody see you? But guys, you are going to see a lot coming out of Chris, Audra, and Shannon in Ohio, whether Everett likes it or not. You're going to see some really
Everett
cool
will
shit.
survive.
Everett will survive. You're going to see some really cool shit coming out of, Captain Crunch. You're going to see some really cool shit coming out of Ohio here in the next few months, guys. We are, we have planted our feet. We are with family, and we are ready to start investigating and getting some of the stuff going on. So I've got a few things in the work. Well, not in the works yet, but they will be. So if we don't have a location, we will definitely have some investigations and some evidence coming to you guys. We've got some great guests coming up. We've got Greg from Fort Mifflin coming up next week, so don't miss that show.
Yes.
And then we will definitely, eventually, so the great thing about Stay Haunted is we have got stuff booked out until the end of July. And then we've got Gettysburg Bash where we'll all be at.
Can't wait for that.
Looking forward to that.
Can't wait for that. And then you'll see us coming back, and eventually we will have some evidence shows from what Carmela and Todd have been doing. You'll see some evidence shows from what Audra and I and Shannon will be doing here in the near future. So make sure you guys tune in for that. Thank you, Shannon, for coming on.
Thank you,
Thank you, Shannon. It was a
Shannon.
pleasure meeting you. We look forward to meeting you in person.
First family show.
Absolutely.
Woo-hoo.
Family show.
There
And the
we go.
best part is you only have a 10-minute drive home.
There you go.
Nothing better than that. I can tell you that. When we were coming up from Whitehall, it was the same thing. It was like,
Yeah,
yes.
White Hill's only 10 minutes, so we were like, yeah,
So
nice. 2 o'clock in the morning, good.
We were
10-minute
out.
drive,
Yeah.
we're good.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Right, guys.
Thank you, Ron. Love you, buddy.
Nice to meet you guys.
It was nice having you on, Shannon. Thank you.
Shannon, we'll see you soon.
Oh, we're not done with you yet.
We're not done with you, Shannon. There's more to
I look
come.
forward to it.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you tune in next week for Greg in Fort Mifflin. And remember, if you want to go back, you want to take their souls, you got to come out. You got to investigate with Audra and I and Shannon. You might even want to go out to New Jersey and investigate with Todd and Carmela. But the only way you're going to catch evidence, guys, is if you stay haunted. All right, guys, we will see you next week. Have a good night.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Love you guys. Thank you.
Night.
Yeah.